Welcome to the Dougie Wuggy Story Hour. Coming to you today from Cole Arts Summer Camp in Oakland, California. Let's give it up for Cole Arts Camp. If you're interested in attending the camp, check us out on our website, www.coleartscamp.com. You can come and hear me tell stories in person and drum and dance and perform and have a good time. All right, so today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about when I was a very rather naughty fellow when I was about 12. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and it didn't snow a lot, but when it did snow, we just were super happy that it snowed. And we would have snowball fights. I had a big backyard. And we also had a sledding hill, like one block, and we would go sledding there. And, it's just really fun to play in the snow, right? Yeah. Especially when it doesn't happen that often. Now, if you live in the snow, like a place like Maine, where it snows all the time, you get tired of it. Like I went to college in Boston, and it snowed a lot. And you get tired of it after a while. But when it only snows like 2 or 3 times a year, it's more exciting. So, school got called off one day. You know what a snow day is? Yes. A snow day is when there's too much snow on the roads and they cancel the schools. And we would listen on the radio like, today's, and then they would list which schools were closed. And I'd be listening from my school. I'd be like, come on, Georgetown Day. And the guy on the radio would go, today, schools closed are, and you go through the list, and then he went, Georgetown Day School. And like, yes, no school today. Woo! And so we spent all day, sledding and getting all wet. And then we came in and had lunch, changed our clothes. And then it was 1 in the afternoon. We were a little bored. So we decided to do something rather naughty. We decided to throw snowballs at cars, moving cars. Yeah. Because we lived on kind of a busy street, and my friend, Guy, lived up on a hill, and he had a bush, and you could throw the snowballs, and as the cars drove by, we would throw the snowballs and try and hit the car in the trunk. It was like target practice, moving target. It was kind of fun, but also it's really kind of a bad idea because... why is it a bad idea to throw snowballs at moving cars?
They would get mad at you.
Yeah, you could cause a...
accident!
Exactly. You could distract somebody and they could, especially on a busy street like that. So we'd throw the snowball, we'd maybe hit the car, maybe not, and then we'd hide behind the bush. And this guy drives by... and his window was open, the driver's side window, and I throw the snowball. I'm trying to hit the trunk, and I actually hit the guy in the face with a snowball, and it smashed him in the head, and I'm like, oh, God. And my friend's like, you hit the dude in the face. And we hide behind the bushes. And we're peeking through the bushes. And he slams on the brakes. And he gets out of his car. And he's like, who did that? And we're like, oh, God. And the dude looked like a football player. He was huge and scary looking. He had this, and he had this beard, and his beard was all full of the snowball. He looked like Santa Claus, all this snow in his beard. And my friend's he's like, there's this giant Santa Claus looking for us. And we're hiding behind this bush. And then the guy sees us peeking through the bushes. It's like a nightmare. Have you ever had nightmares where a monster's come in and the monster sees you, or the bad guy sees, and they start coming for you? It was kind of like that. And the guy runs up the driveway, and we try to escape, but there was like no way to escape. And he grabs both me and my friend, like by the shirt. He goes, "Look what you did. You almost made me crash my car." And we're like, "I'm sorry, mister. We weren't trying to hit you in the face. We were trying to hit the trunk." He said, "Well, you missed." I'm like, "Yeah, I can see that. I'm really sorry." But he was not having it. And he said, and then he knocked on my friend's door, and my friend's parents weren't home. But then he looks at me, he goes, "Where do you live, kid?" I'm like, "Right over there." And he was not letting me go. I'm like, this dude is seriously mad. And he knocks on my door, and my dad comes to the door, and my dad's like, kind of like, "Hello? What's going on?" He goes, "Your kid just hit me in the face with a snowball." And my dad's like, "Doug, really?" I'm like, "It was an accident. We tried to hit the trunk." And my dad said, "I'll take care of it." And boy, did I get in trouble. And you know what my punishment was? Well, no, we had jobs in our family. Like, do you have chores in your family? So there were different jobs. There was like clearing out the dishwasher, raking the leaves, shoveling the snow if it snowed. But the job we hated the most was picking up the dog poop. It was called Poop Patrol. And we had a big dog that had very stinky, smelly poops. So it wasn't like these cute little delicate dry poops. It was more like, oh God, poops. Like, oh.
With your naked hands?
No, not with you. No, we had a little shovel and stuff. A scooper, a pooper scooper. But you know what my punishment was for hitting the guy in the face? 3 weeks on Poop Patrol. And my brother's like, "Oh, Doug's got 3 weeks on Poop Patrol." And I'm like, "You be quiet." And like, "You shouldn't have done that." I said, "I know, it was an accident. Doug's got Poop Patrol for 3 weeks. You know how siblings like to tease each other. And, but then something else bad happened. Okay, so about 6 months after that, I learned my lesson not to throw snowballs at cars. And my friend and I, same friend, we decided to walk up to the bowling alley because we like to bowl on Saturdays. And on the way home, we stopped at 7-Eleven to get Slurpees and stuff. And there was a Safeway there. And there was this big pile of rocks, just perfect size for throwing. They were perfect throwing rocks. And we were both kind of competitive. We were both pitchers in baseball. And I said, "Okay, let's see who can hit that light." There was a telephone pole. And we were throwing rocks to try and hit the telephone pole. We weren't trying to be destructive. We were just having fun. And at one point, I threw it really hard. The rock hit the telephone pole. It bounced off, it ricocheted, and it smashed a car windshield that was in the parking lot. And my friend's like, "Oh my God, Doug, you just smashed that dude's window." And I'm like, "Let's get out of here." No, it was somebody else. I don't know if it was. And we run home, and I try to pretend like nothing happened. But I was very upset about it, and my mom could kind of tell. You know, your parents can sort of tell when you're upset. Something in your face. Something in your face. And she said, "Doug, are you okay?" I'm like, "Uh-huh." She said, "Doug, why? Did something happen?" I'm like, "Uh-uh." And then she looks at me, and she's like, "Doug, whatever it is, you can tell me." And I said, "Well, I was throwing rocks." She's like, "Oh, boy." And we were trying to hit a telephone pole, and it bounced off, and it smashed somebody's windshield in the Safeway parking lot. She's like, "Oh, my God, seriously?" I'm like, "Seriously." She said, "Okay, we're going back up there. We're going to leave a note." I'm like, "No, Mom, just let it go." She said, "Nope. you're going to have to take responsibility for this. I'm like, oh, no, please, no. And we get up there, and the car was gone. All that was there was a bunch of glass in where the car had been parked. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. There was no way to find the person. But my mom said, you are going to have some kind of punishment. I'm like, what? She said, you're back on poop patrol. I'm like, no! Not back on poop patrol. So another 3 weeks on poop patrol.
How many?
Another 3 weeks on poop patrol. And my older brother's like, dude, you need to really learn to stop throwing things near cars. I'm like, okay, I got it. And that's the true story of Dougie Wuggy is a naughty fellow. And that's it for today. Over and out.